Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradari Jayo Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradari Jayo Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Yashodanandana Jayo Braja Janaranjana Jayo Braja Janaranjana Jayo Yashodanandana Jayo Braja Janaranjana Jayo Braja Janaranjana Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Kunja Bihari Vanachari Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivaradhari, Jayo Girivaradhari. Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivaradhari, Jayo Girivaradhari. Jayo Yashodanandana, Jayo Brajajanaranjana, Jayo Brajajanaranjana. Jayo Yashodanandana, Jayo Brajajanaranjana, Jayo Brajajanaranjana. Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunja Bihari, Vanachari, Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunja Bihari, Vanachari, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. No, this one. Mm-hmm. It's invitation? Yes. Can I also get? Sure, no problem. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 14th chapter entitled The Forest of Enjoyment, text 21 and 22. The text is in prose, Gadya, so we will not recite as usually, but just read it and then read word by word as well. So please repeat after me. Kadachit Bhagnamanadamshtraham Durjanadanda Shukaihi Alabda Nidrakshanaham Vyadita Hridayenam Vijnanaham Anukshiyamanam Vijnanaham Andakupem Andhavat Patatim Kadachit Bhagna Manadamstro Durjana Danda Shukair Alabda Nidrakshano Vyatita Hridayena Anukshiyamana Vijnano Ndakupe Ndavat Patati. So we can read also synonyms. Kadachit, sometimes. Bhagnamana damshtraham, whose teeth of pride are broken. Durjana danda shukaihi, by the envious activities of evil men, who are compared to a kind of serpent. Alabda nidrakshanaham, who does not get an opportunity to sleep. Vyatita hridayenam, by a disturbed mind. Anukshiyamana, gradually being decreased. Vijnanaham, whose real consciousness. Andakupe, in a blind well. Andhavat, like illusion. Patati, he falls down. Translation. In the forest of the material world, the conditioned soul is sometimes beaten by envious enemies, which are compared to serpents and other creatures. Through the tricks of the enemy, the conditioned soul falls from his prestigious position. Being anxious, he cannot even sleep properly. He thus becomes more and more unhappy, and he gradually loses his intelligence and consciousness. In that state, he becomes almost perpetually like blind man who has fallen into a dark well of ignorance. Text 22. Karhis machit kama madhu lavan vichinvan yadam paradharam dravyani avarandhanaham rajnyam swami bhivam nihataham patatim apare nirayam karhi smachit kama madhu lavan vichinvan yada paradharam paradravyani avarundhano rajnya swamibir vanihata patat apare niraye. Someone would like to repeat Sanskrit? Read the verse. Maybe this side. Yamuna. Okay. Karhismachit. Sometimes. Kama madhu lavan. Little drops of honey-like sense gratification. Within one, searching for, yada, when, paradaram, another's wife, or a woman other than his own wife. Paradravyanim, another's money and possessions. Avarundhanaham, taking as his own property. Rajna, by the government. Swami Bhiva, or by the husband or relatives of the woman. Nihataha, severely beaten. Patati, he falls down. Apare, into unlimitedly. Niraye, hellish conditions of life. The government's prison for criminal activities, like rape, kidnapping, or the theft of others' property. Translation. The conditioned soul is sometimes attracted to the little happiness derived from sense gratification. Thus he has illicit sex or steals another's property. At such a time, he may be arrested by the government or chastised by the woman's husband or protector. Thus, simply for a little material satisfaction, he falls into a hellish condition and is put into jail for rape, kidnapping, theft, and so forth. Material life is such that due to indulgence in illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and meat-eating, the conditioned soul is always in a dangerous condition. Meat-eating and intoxication excite the senses more and more, and the conditioned soul falls victim to woman. In order to keep woman, money is required, and to acquire money, one begs, borrows, or steals. Indeed, he commits abominable acts that cause him to suffer both in this life and in the next. Consequently, illicit sex must be stopped by those who are spiritually inclined or who are on the path of spiritual realization. Many devotees fall down due to illicit sex. They may steal money and even fall down from the highly honored, renounced order. Then, for a livelihood, they accept menial services and become beggars. It is therefore said in the Shastras, Yan maitunadi grihamedi sukham hit tucham. Materialism is based on sex, whether licit or illicit. Sex is full of dangers, even for those who are addicted to household life. Whether one has license for sex or not, there is great trouble. Bahu dukkha bhak. After one indulges in sex, many volumes of miseries ensue. One suffers more and more in material life. A miserly person cannot properly utilize the wealth he has, and similarly, a materialistic person misuses the human form. Instead of using it for spiritual emancipation, he uses the body for sense gratification. Therefore, he is called a miser. Just to ask, we have time till 8:30. So, in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Srimad Bhagavatam is Pradhana Shastra, the main fundamental scripture, as per words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore all philosophical and cultural points developed in society and tradition should be based on Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is very much liked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Bhagavat Pracharaka. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have actually come to propagate the transcendental mellows of love of Godhead manifested or written in Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have said, Krishna Tulya Bhagavata. This Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. Shri Bhagavat Rasa Tattva Korile Prachara Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Janaila Samsara. He have come to propagate Rasa and Tattva of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Bhagava Rasa Tattva Korile Prachara. So the Tattvas, the depthness and the Rasa, the mellows of Godhead. Korile Prachara. And because they are not different from Krishna, they can have a direct influence of consciousness of living being. And therefore can deliver the living being from samsara, janela samsara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well said that Srimad Bhagavatam is the embodiment of mellows of Godhead. Shri Bhagavata, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Svarupa. The Srimad Bhagavatam is embodiment of mellows of love of Godhead. Bhakti Rasa Svarupa. It's such a unique definition of book. It means that the book is not different from Krishna as a Sambandhi, is not different from Bhakti, devotional service, and is not different from Prema Prayojana, the goal of life. So the book is the reality, because this book is actually not ordinary book. It is the Shabda Para Shabda, transcendental sound vibration. It is the Shabda Brahman, which is not different from Para Brahman. It is sound which is not different from Krishna, therefore it's called the sonic representation of Krishna. It is the thought and word of Krishna. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a incarnation always relish Srimad Bhagavatam, and therefore all Gaudiyas regard Srimad Bhagavatam as Pradhana Shastra. And Srimad Bhagavatam for all Gaudiyas is not only Prameya. Prameya is that which is knowable. Just like the subject of this verse and this chapter is the forest of enjoyment. It is the chapter about the Maya. It is the chapter about the extrinsic energy of Krishna, the Tatastha Lakshana of Paramatma. It is the extrinsic symptom of Paramatma, but it is also Pramana. And it's very important to understand Srimad Bhagavatam as Pramana, not only as Prameya, because sometimes we learn so many subjects, but we don't learn them properly. And therefore, Acharyas, especially Jiva Goswami in his Tattva Sandarbha explains how to learn the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he starts the Tattva Sandarbha by explaining what is Pramana. Pramana sometimes we translate as a proof. There is a Pratyaksha Pramana, the direct sense experience, like naive realism, what we see is the truth. Then there is Anumana, it is the philosophical consideration as a proof for things which are distant from us, which we cannot see with our senses. And Shabda Brahma is the transcendental sound as a Pramana. So there are different Brahmanas, but the definition of Pramana is given in dictionaries, the koshas, as Prama dadati iti pramana. That which gives prama, it is pramana. So what is prama? Prama is something which is correct. There is prama and aprama. The perception which is correct and aprama perception which is incorrect. So Srimad Bhagavatam as a pramana, that which gives prama, the real knowledge, is very, very unique actually. Because in the world, in our conscious experience, we have two kinds of perception. One is Vaidusha Pratyaksha, one is Avaidusha Pratyaksha. Vaidusha Pratyaksha means that which is experienced transcendentally. And Avaidusha Pratyaksha is ordinary material experience. So how do we experience something which is beyond our senses? Therefore Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially Jiva Goswami, is saying that the method of realization is trans-empirical, it's trans-logical. This Gaudiya Vaishnavism is Vedantic school, which is saying that Tarka apratishtanat. With logic, the truth cannot be established. Because logic is based on tarka, it is wrangling. Someone proves one theory, another person proves another theory, and in that way you cannot prove the existence of God, because existence of God is beyond our logical conceptions. Therefore it's Tarko apratishtanat. Mahabharata is saying the same. Tarko apratishta. Therefore all these things about, for example, debating, does God exist, does God doesn't exist, it's actually useless to prove God by this means, by dialect, by, speaking with position, opposition, etc. It's useless. Srimad Bhagavatam gives another method, and it is Shabda Brahma. It is transcendental sound, and Srimad Bhagavatam itself points that on higher levels of reality, the Shabda is non-different from Parashabda, means there is non-duality. Like in this world, the sound, Vaikari Shabda, the speech, is different from the object. Word water is different from water as object, and therefore there is duality. But Srimad Bhagavatam declares that what is reality? Tattvam yajnanam advayam. The tattva, the reality, is advaya jnana. It is non-dual knowledge or non-dual consciousness. So, means that reality is not known by any other external means of knowledge, like pratyaksha or anumana, but must be known through unmediated perception, what is called aparoksha anubhava. Unmediated perception, just like in this world we have different medias of perception, like our senses for acquiring knowledge, Gyanendriya and Karmendriya senses for working. In this way we acquire the knowledge, but this perception is mediated perception. It's mediated through imperfect senses. And because it's mediated through imperfect senses, we cannot grasp the knowledge in proper way. So therefore the living being lives in ignorance and creates karma by that way. So in order to have the direct perception, the person has to have the ability to have unmediated perception, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam. And why is Srimad Bhagavatam like that? Because this Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound vibration which is not different from Krishna. And we cannot understand it by our own intellect. It can be given only through Guru Parampara. It must be given through a Guru. And therefore, one of the definitions of Guru is Shabda Brahma Nishnata Parabrahma Nigachati. The Guru is the one who is very well versed in Shabda Brahma. It means in transcendental sound or scripture. Yes, please.
Krishna say, I'm more important Guru.
Sorry?
Krishna says that he is a Guru.
Okay, what do you want to say by that? No, what do you want to say by that? I want to understand.
That you say that you can understand Srimad Bhagavatam only if Guru help you.
Yeah.
And I say that Krishna says that he is a Guru. And he can help you as Paramatma in your heart. What a problem.
Yes, yeah, definitely. But conditioned living being cannot comprehend the sound from within unless he is aligned with the heart of Guru. The method of imparting of knowledge is two ways, as you are saying. One is intrinsic, as you are saying, from Paramatma, as a Chaitya Guru. One is extrinsic, external through Shastra and Guru. Because the Shishya is very much conditioned, he cannot hear Paramatma. And Paramatma is not revealing knowledge until the heart of Shishya is aligned with the heart of Guru, who is external. There is no difference between external Guru and internal Guru. Chaitanya Charitamrita clearly says this, that there are actually two manifestations of the same. Guru is empowered by Krishna Shakti. So when you see a spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, you should consider this is Krishna Kripa Rupa, the form of Krishna's mercy. Because we can't hear that Paramatma insight. And Paramatma is not satisfied just by being, introvert and not respecting Guru. Because Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, how is that? Acharya mam vijaniyam. Acharya is me. It's not different from Krishna. So when you say that Krishna gives knowledge inside, but Krishna also gives knowledge outside. Acharya mam vijaniyam. So we should not disregard that aspect. And Srimad Bhagavatam especially says this about transference of knowledge from Guru to disciple through alignment of heart. And alignment of heart means alignment of consciousness. Means Tene Brahma Hridaya Adhikavaya. Krishna have imparted this knowledge to Brahma within the heart, because his heart was pure, Shuddha Chitatvam. Unless the heart is pure, the knowledge cannot be imparted to Shishya. Therefore, it's very much important that disciple also develops a favorable tendency towards the Guru. And then he is saying, Snigdasya Shishyasya, Bruyuhu Snigdasya Shriyasa. To affectionate student, Snigda Shishya, the Guru gives knowledge. Because you cannot just be scholar. This part of is not only scholarly. You should be Pandit, but by being Pandit itself you cannot understand Krishna. Means the knowledge is revealed, and then you can study that knowledge. Anyhow, the Shabda Brahma, I was saying, Shabda Brahma Nishnata Parabrahma Nigachati. The Guru is one who is well versed in Shabda Brahma, and then Parabrahma Nigachati, he achieves the Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman. So the Guru must be well versed in scriptures, but he also needs to know Parabrahman. You cannot just be a scholar, I know Srimad Bhagavatam by heart, and I can, do so much of tarka, the logic about that. You also have to know Krishna. And you cannot just say, I know Krishna, but I don't know Shabda Brahma. The Guru is Krishna Tattvavit. Guru is the knower of truth of Krishna. So how Guru knows Krishna? Guru knows Krishna through Shastra. So Guru is learned in scriptures, and therefore he knows Krishna. It's very important, and Guru sees the non-duality of Shabda from Krishna, and therefore through that Shabda he knows Krishna. And therefore it's very, very important, and relationship of Guru and Shishya is not based only on material sound, means on scholarship. It's based on Parashabda. And then if it's relationship based on Parashabda, then the Guru can impart the knowledge to Shishya on transcendental platform. You wanted to say?
Prabhupada say in Bhagavad Gita that Jiva cannot understand position of Guru and what is it Guru Tattva. That we cannot understand how, what is a relation Krishna and Guru, and how Guru helps that people. This is knowledge.
You will have to give me a quote about that, because I have to see the context, because it's a little sensitive, no? Whenever you say like this, Prabhupada says, you should give an exact quote. You should quote it, otherwise we can put our own imaginations, interpretations on Prabhupada's words. No problem, but you have to know. Just a moment.
Second moment, that's what the context. It's not context. In situations that you cannot understand position of Guru. What context? You cannot understand his position. You cannot understand what is Guru Tattva.
So if we cannot understand, we should not have then relationship with Guru. You see, your statement is a little extreme. Your statement is a little extreme, and it would conclude that we cannot have relationship with Guru, we cannot learn through this. So therefore I'm telling you, you have to give me a context of that. Your context is definitely a little extreme, because if I can't understand, what's the use of having Guru? And you have two things. One is achintya, means incomprehensible. You cannot understand. But there is anirvachaniya, you cannot explain. And these are two different things. So I have to see what you're thinking. Either not explainable, anirvachaniya, or achintya. So you have to give me a quote direct, and then I will refer on that. So anyway, to come back to that topic of pramana, is where we stopped. Yes, so the Guru knows Krishna through Shabda Brahma, and if Guru is on that level of Parashabda, he can convey that same message to disciple. And this is the method of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is actually a Vedic method. We see how in ancient times different rishis developed different branches of Paravidya and Aparavidya, and nowadays it can be scientifically verified. In those days they didn't have instruments for scientific verification, let's say Ayurveda or Stapana Veda or Gandharva Veda. It was not invented. This knowledge is not invented. Ayurveda is not invented by Charaka Muni. It is revealed earlier, and he quotes earlier sages like Kashyapa, etc. So it's not invented in those times through experiments in laboratories. but it is relevant, valid and practical even today. So that means, this proves that Shabda Brahma is valid knowledge, even by our own experience and our own anumana, philosophical consideration. So Vedic method of knowledge, or Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Darshana, gives direct insight and connection with the source of knowledge. And unique position of Srimad Bhagavatam is that Vachya Vachaka Sambandha. Vachya, that which is said. And Vachaka, Vachya is that, Vachya is that about whom the book is spoken about. And Vachaka, the book which is the speaker, are Sambandha, they are same. So the Vachya is Krishna, and Vachaka is Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sambandha, this relation, is undeniable, and therefore Srimad Bhagavatam is not full of transcendental knowledge, it is transcendental knowledge. A very important difference. It is absolute reality. It is Krishna. It is Bhakti Rasa Swarupa. So just by associating with Srimad Bhagavatam, your consciousness can achieve the non-duality with Krishna. Not you, but your consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is called Advaya Jnana Tattva. It is the reality of non-dual consciousness. Advaya Jnana Tattva. So in order to associate with Krishna, the Shishya has to study scripture. And has to study scripture under Guru, who will reveal the very fine implied meanings in Srimad Bhagavatam. You see, in the Kavya Shastra, or the aesthetical poetical theory of Sanskrit, we have three kinds of meanings. But Prabhu is saying there is no context. But we have three kinds of meanings and three different kinds of context. In general, there is many more, but three main. One is Mukhya Vritti, direct meaning. Just like you say, Prabhupada said, Jiva cannot understand Guru, position of Guru. So this is direct. If we take by direct statement, we cannot understand, there is no use of that. Then, but maybe is secondary meaning. Gauna Vritti. Just like we say, this temple is in the Bergstrasse, is on the Berg Street. Is this temple really on the street? No, it's not. It's secondary meaning. But it's conventional language we use. We say this temple is on the Bergstrasse. Just like we say the house is on the bank of Ganga. Is it really, the house is on the Ganga. Is it really on Ganga, on the water floating, or is it on the bank? So this is conventional meaning, Gauna Vritti, but the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of aparoksha bhava, aparoksha, the indirect statements. And that's called Vyanjana Vritti, implied meanings. And to understand the implied meanings of words, pada, you have to learn from Guru. You cannot do it by self-study, because all of us have different kinds of preconceptions. So when we read, for example, about the relationship between Krishna and gopis, we can conclude this is just a Kama Shastra, this is just about lust. And you, by your own intelligence, you will not understand the purity of relationship. Therefore, so much of bhashyas, tikas is given by acharyas, that you understand the implied meaning, Vyanjana Vritti, what it really means, the relationship between Radha and Krishna. So it's a very important thing, and the all darshanas and knowledge traditions are using methods which are coming from known to unknown. From known means from things which we already know from life. Because we can't imagine Krishna. Therefore, sometimes Krishna is described as beautiful as a lotus flower. His face is lotus-like. His feet are lotus-like. Why is author Shukadeva Goswami Vyasa using such upamana, the simile or analogy? Because we can see a lotus. And then from lotus you can compare with Krishna. You can go from known to unknown. And why I'm saying all this? Because you see that this topic, like the forest of enjoyment, why is this in Srimad Bhagavatam? Why there is so much of secondary topics, aparavidya in Srimad Bhagavatam? Why is not just about Krishna Lila? Because we can't compare Krishna Lila with anything. Then you can't comprehend it. But in this way, through the Srimad Bhagavatam has, in explaining the truths, have two approaches as per Jiva Goswami. One is Vyasti Nirdesha. It is the individual consciousness, from the perception of individual consciousness. Because the only thing which we have to examine in life is your own consciousness. I don't know anything except my consciousness. Therefore, Jiva Goswami explains how to intuitively understand Srimad Bhagavatam, the reality of the Advaya Jnana through consciousness. What means non-dual consciousness? Just like when I perceive something, there is a subject, there is object, there is a difference. And there is always some kind of illusion in that. But Advaya Jnana is unmediated consciousness, means direct perception. Means there is no difference between the subject and object in consciousness. Like in this world there is a difference, but on Parashabda there is no difference, and therefore the person can have experience of that. He doesn't need to be dependent on imperfect senses. And another method implied for knowledge is samasti nirdesha. Ascertainment through material subjects, material objects. Just like a sarga, visarga, poshana, the creation and secondary creation. And through this subjects, the padarthas, we relate to Ashra, the 10th subject. In Srimad Bhagavatam there is 10 subjects, and all 9 subjects are pointing just to the 10th subject. Dashame dashamam lakshyam. And that dashama lakshya is Krishna, Ashraya. He is the shelter of everything. Srimad Bhagavatam wants to show how Krishna is the shelter of everything. So why we study all other things like creation, secondary creation, maintenance, dissolution of universe, just to relate all these subjects to Krishna, because these are subjects which we can know. Just like in Vedanta Sutra, the Vyasadeva is starting Attato Brahma Jijñāsa. Now is the time to inquire the absolute truth. So the subject is the absolute truth. And then the second point he said, Janmad Asya Yataha. This absolute truth is that from which the Janma, creation, Adi means the Srishti and Sthiti, maintenance and dissolution are produced. Janmad Asya Yataha. He is the source of all that. Why he is saying the Janma? Janma, Srishti and Sthiti. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. because we can relate to that. So the subject is about Brahma, and the second sutra is saying Janma Adi. It's about the origin, the maintenance, and dissolution, because you can relate to it. And this whole Srimad Bhagavatam is like that. And I'm saying all this because sometimes we read these topics and you don't relate with the 10th canto. You don't relate with the Krishna's pastimes. You don't relate with the Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Lila. And this is wrong way of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. You see, this Bhagavad Darshana, this school of transcendental devotional thought, is meant to connect all subjects, be it Jyotish, be it Ayurveda, Stapana Veda, Gandharva Veda, Dhanur Veda, be it Shiksha, Chanda, Nirukta, Vyakarana, Kalpa, Purana, Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra, Niti Shastra, Kama Shastra, all in context of Dashama Lakshya, the 10th subject. So whatever you read in Srimad Bhagavatam, you should hear in the context of Krishna consciousness. So the context is very important, Prabhuji, is it? Context is very important. Otherwise you can read this, it's about, you'll see this topic about forest of enjoyment, it's about sufferings of living beings. So many subjects in the universities is speaking about, problems of life. Sociology speaks, psychology speaks, medicine speaks. So then, why is Srimad Bhagavatam different? It's different because it connects with Krishna, different subjects. And otherwise we can just be enamored by this topic about suffering and lust. How this world is full of lust and suffering. And you can have a wrong idea about that. Means you can misdefine what means Maya. The definition of Maya in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Chatushloki, 2nd canto, is given that which appears that have value without me. What that means, if you have perception of something in this world and doesn't have connection with Krishna, that is Maya. That which doesn't have connection with Krishna, for example, here is about sense enjoyment, marriage, money, gold, etc. If you see them outside of Krishna consciousness, that is Maya. If you see them in Krishna consciousness, how the Krishna is Janma of all this is not Maya. Because sometimes we think this world is Maya. This world is not Maya. This energy is Maya, but the world is how you perceive it. If you consider this world as a Maya, you will become escapist. Escapist means the one who wants to avoid things. You will not do your duty, your dharma. You will avoid action. You will become impersonalist. But the Maya defined in Srimad Bhagavatam and the Paramatma Sandarbha, it is the real extrinsic energy of the real supreme potent Paramatma. It is the real energy. You see, if you think this world is Maya, then you are Mayavadi. Because what means this Mayavada? Means this world is illusion, it is vivarta, it's just appearance. Appearance in a consciousness of a jiva, living being. So it's not real. It's Maya, but Jiva Goswami is saying that this world is not actually mere appearance, phantasmagoria. He's saying it is Shakti Parinama. It is transformation of external energy of Paramatma. So what he's saying that this world is not creation. This world is not created. And also we are not created. We have never been created. A living being doesn't come into being It's Nitya. Bhagavad Gita is saying, Nityam Shashvatayam Puran. How is Na jayate na mriyate va kadachin. At any time, this living being, not na jayate na mriyate, doesn't come into being. It's not born and doesn't die. The living being is actually Swayambhu. It is self-manifested. Because why I'm saying this? Because in theological traditions in the West, we consider that human, animal, plant is created. But in Vedic tradition, we are not created. We are the transformation of Krishna's energies. Tatastha Shakti is eternal energy, and we just one small part, individuation of the Tatastha Shakti. The same thing, this energy is not created, always existed. But the intrinsic nature of this energy is change. It is always changing, and therefore it seems like it created a certain moment. But always existed. So this energy is a real energy, and is real because it is Krishna's energy. Krishna is real, and this is Krishna's real energy. The problem, the real Maya, is misperception of this energy. The misperception means this energy is meant for my sense enjoyment. This water is meant for to quench my thirst. The food is meant for me to eat. The music is meant for my ears to enjoy, etc. This is Maya. But the water by itself, the food itself, music itself is not problem. Because the nature of living being is to be active and to engage senses in service of Krishna. So we, as a sadhakas, we have tendency to withdraw our senses from sense objects, yeah? And that is part of our practice. We don't engage for ourselves, but we do engage for Krishna. And that's nature of real nature of living being. Jivira Swarup Hoya Krishna Nityadas. So that is Yukta Vairagya we use for Krishna. Because otherwise, if we just disengage, we are also miser. This verse is speaking about miser. On the end, Prabhupada is saying the one who steals, enjoys other wives, he's a miser. But if you don't engage for Krishna, you're also miser. No, if you're just renunciant, dry, shushka vairagi, oh, I don't want this, I don't want to engage. You're missing complete point of Krishna consciousness. Okay, our tradition is Vairagya Vidya. There is part of Vairagya, Yukta Vairagya. Love, they say that the life and soul of Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Vairagya. We don't want to enjoy, but doesn't mean that we don't engage in Krishna's service. And this is also a very important point, because if you're just Vairagi, you will not develop kavyatva, the ability to perceive Krishna aesthetically. It will not be refined. And Krishna is Rasika Shekhar. He is the enjoyer of rasa. He's not just enjoying your vairagya. Krishna, you see, Krishna plays flute, he dresses nicely, he enjoys wonderful, palatable food, no? So, and the gopis, you see how the gopis are dressed wonderfully for Krishna. So, we have to balance our spiritual life, not only be vairagis, but also not to, overindulge in, self-aggrandizement and trying to, in the name of Krishna consciousness, how to say, develop our, material identities and say, oh, this is for Krishna's pleasure. So these topics are very relevant for us about karma and Maya of this world. And without understanding them, we cannot do pure devotional service, because Jiva Goswami says, if you don't understand Sambandha Gyan means relationship between Ishvara, Jiva and Prakriti, you cannot know what is Abhidheya Gyan. And Abhidheya Gyan is Shuddha Bhakti. Abhidheya Gyan, knowledge of process, is Shuddha Bhakti. So if you don't know your relationship with Krishna, and how Krishna relates to this Prakriti, you will not develop the pure concept, Abhiman, of yourself, and then there is no pure bhakti. If there is no pure bhakti, there is no prema bhakti. Prayojan will not be achieved. So those people who say that you don't need to study scripture and hear, from Guru and purify your heart, I think they have a misconception about that. Thank you so much. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Arpanam Astu. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Maybe there is some more question, because I see you're still doing this seva. Maybe we can take some questions. Even earlier, Prabhu raised hands, so let him do now.
My English is also not so good, and I didn't understand all of it. The question was that the three kind of hearing, yes, it was talking about three type of understanding, like Prabhupada say something, like you say, this temple is on the Bergstrasse, but actually it's not on the Bergstrasse.
Three types of meanings is this.
Yes, about the first one, what you say that we have to learn from Guru, what it was, because I get the point. This you say, this part, the first one, we have to learn from Guru because we have different
Yes.
perceptions or something like that.
But let's say like this, that some verse is saying the sun is setting. The sun is setting, no? So direct meaning is obvious, the sun is setting. But actually what wants to say, now is the time to meditate, because in Shiva Muhurta it's good to meditate. So it's very much indirect, implied meaning, which cannot be comprehended by ordinary means. You have to say as AI, as artificial intelligence, you would think, oh, this is speaking about setting the sun. But it's not the point. It's not the context, real context of what it's saying. So this can be used metaphors, but this is actually this Vyanjana Vritti means suggestive meaning. It tells you something indirectly. And it's very poetic and beautiful. And beautiful, Krishna likes this language. Because scientific language is very blunt. 2 + 2 is 4. But Krishna likes to say, for example, how would you say 2 + 2 is 4 poetically? Anyway, I don't have inspiration now, but the totality of 4, you can express in beautiful ways. So then Krishna likes things like that. So then the Guru has to reveal that. For example, people misunderstand Radha Krishna Lila as a karma. People misunderstand Sitaram Lila as abuse of woman. Oh, he abandoned Sita. But you don't understand, it's about viraha. It's about separation between lover and beloved. There is no moment in when Rama and Sita were separate. Within their heart, there is no moment they stop thinking about each other. An external situation just helps that. But these things you can... Suggestive meaning. Yes. Yes. Okay. Harish. First, maybe Amuna.
Thank you so much for your lecture. You were mentioning that everything in Bhagavatam is leading us to Krishna, and it says something to us. And in this chapter, I don't feel like I don't understand the point. I see it quite clearly. If we don't control the senses, we will suffer. For example, I'm reading 9th canto, and chapter 13 to 20. It's all about this is the son of this and this. And before it was also the story where I think one person is kidnapping a wife, and then all his brothers have to be killed.
It's from Parashuram Lila, no?
Parashuram,
Okay.
his mother is thinking of another man,
Yes.
God is ordering him
To kill.
to kill everyone. Like,
Yes.
I don't understand how
Yeah.
you see this.
You see, I said in the beginning the definition of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Bhagavat Bhakti Rasa Svarupa. So rasas are 5 plus 7, Mukhya and Gauna Rasa. 5, Madhurya to Shanta, no? And Gauna is Vira to Bibhatsa. No Vira, Adbhuta to Bibhatsa. Adbhuta is wonder, Hasya is laughter, Rodra is anger, then Bibhatsa is disgust, we have 2 more, Bhayanaka is fear, and Karuna is compassion. So it is the embodiment of rasas, but also secondary rasas, Vira. You see, the people also fight, and they fight Vira, no? The heroism. Because if there is no fight, there cannot be the hero, the Nayaka. And therefore, if there is no hero, there is no excitement. You cannot have bhava without Vira. Krishna is a great hero, Rama is a great hero. Why? Because he did glorious deeds. So how he fights? He fights with demons. Ravana kidnaps Sita, also in 9th canto. No? 9th canto is like a small Ramayana, Sankshepa Ramayana. So over there you find these topics, of fight, Vira Rasa. And Bhagavad Gita is also like this. Krishna is telling to Arjuna to fight. But this is Dharma Yuddha Vira. It is heroism based on courage, but also on Dharma, the righteousness. Because in life you cannot just be, to say, sentimental lover, just Madhurya Rasa, just Sakya, just Vatsalya, just parenthood. The parent must protect the child from disease, from enemies, from ignorance. So that is Vira Rasa. So these primary and secondary rasas, they always mix. And sometimes the prominence is there in secondary rasa even. It's called Angi Anga Rasa. Angi Rasa is the primary. Sometimes secondary rasa becomes primary. For example, the friends gather and they start to laugh and everything is about laughter. And it looks like hasya is predominant, no? But actually it's about friendship. The same thing in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes you hear things like fight. There is a lot of Vira Rasa in Srimad Bhagavatam. In Mahabharata even more, like 200-300 pages, just killing, cutting hands, heads, legs. No, it's some people don't have taste for that, but some people enjoy this. Kshatriyas. But Dharmic Kshatriya, he's not a butcher or a monster, but as a Kshatriya likes to revenge and protect Dharma, so for that cause he's ready to kill. If someone attacks your family, you should be ready to kill, otherwise you're a coward. It's not Dharma not to kill at that moment. We are not like absolute pacifists like some branches of Buddhism. So therefore Vira Rasa must be there. Krishna also enjoys Vira Rasa. And one point was that, yes, this about all these genealogies and all that. Vamshanucharita is the topic of Puranas, and it's showing how noble families are acting. Noble means with good qualities. And Krishna wants to also show that point of Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chame divyam. I am one who knows my transcendental birth and my activities. He knows me in truth, he's saying. Yomam tatvataha. So what he wants to show, that he is born in the family of devotees. And the greatest kings are devotees. Therefore this topic is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes sounds like boring one after another, but it just try to see the evolution of qualities in different kings, the Devas and Asuras, and how Krishna is taking birth then in those, especially those who are devotees. So I think this is the topic over there. This answers, or yeah? Any more doubts?
Yes. Yeah, I see that if someone attacks someone or
Yeah.
does something and then you attack, but
Uh-huh.
one person has one thought and then his whole family is killed. I think it's
Extreme.
strange for me.
This thing with Parashuram, what is the thought?
His father, his mother, sees this celestial being or something, and she wants to enjoy him.
Mm-hmm.
So his father sees that, and she actually had illicit sex act in her mind. So
Mm-hmm.
he wants Parashuram to kill her and all the brothers of Parashuram,
Right,
and he actually does it.
right.
So
And then he regrets.
I found it very
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Sometimes you see sometimes it's overly conservative, no? But one point is that if she had illicit sex in the mind, it's same like having physical, especially if she was, some celestial being, the mother of Parashuram, then it's same like having sex, physical sex. There is no difference because these demigods, they enjoy a mental platform, sex just like physical, no? And it seems extreme. He wants to preserve the purity and the value. And sometimes we say that we don't worship that part of Parashuram. Some people are saying like that. I'm not saying this is always truth, but that we worship Parashuram who have later became great yogi. He became yogi, went to I think Haridwar. There is a murti of him over there, and this part is showing how sometimes you have to go through problems of family life to come to the level of bibhatsa, disgust. Because after bibhatsa, disgust, one effect is there in mind. It's shanta, the peace. It means you go through all these different secondary rasas. At one moment, after anger, fear, fight, vira, and you just achieve peace. There is nothing, no expectation more, no desires, and then you come to peace with yourself. So that this I think are some kind of lessons behind which Parashuram is teaching. But there are other also, very extreme. But you see, sometimes I remember first time reading Srimad Bhagavatam, I thought, why are these topics there? Changing gender, killing mother, this, that. Oh my God! And just look the society last 5 years about changing gender, and so many weird psychologists, all relevant. So Srimad Bhagavatam is relevant even today, because covering these points from another angle, from Atma Tattva. So I think these are the lessons, and obviously very, very relevant for today. I'm seeing the time is late. If there is no questions, then we'll finish. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, maybe later, huh? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Sorry? My name? Das. Hari Bol.